finding a team and finding a project to get started with the profit-sharing community. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to talk for just a couple of minutes at the beginning about 3 projects or 3 areas that I would really love to see profit-sharing communities built in, and then pass it over to, I think we have 5 or even 6 founders from the community that are going to talk to you about their existing profit-sharing projects that they really would love to get some help with building and expanding. So most of these are existing communities that are kind of functioning and at some stage of the development process. Some of them are heading towards like growth stage. Others are just in the kind of build and test phase. But then there are also a couple of presenters today, Prashant and also Tate, who will be presenting projects that they would love to see built on top of the network that either have like a very small prototype going that you can pick up and expand on if you want, or basically just an idea that needs growing from the beginning. But these are exciting opportunities, I think, to take something that people have already kind of signaled that they would really like to see and potentially even built a little bit of, and to expand them. Yeah, so I think the ideas that I'm going to present are pretty broad. And yeah, as always, our inboxes are open. You can just like DM us on Discord, which is of course essentially like the community version or the ecosystem version of the office if you want. And we'd love to talk to you about these ideas one-on-one if you're interested, or if you don't see an idea that is interesting to you today, please just reach out to us privately, and we'll find a time to chat. And I'm quite confident that we can, find a project that is really interesting and exciting to you. There's so many fascinating things to build in the ecosystem. There's almost certainly something for everyone. So one of these ideas that's been kind of going around my head for a long time is trustable decentralized compute in any programming language enabled by, I think, what you could kind of fairly describe as DAO compute systems. And we already see a couple of these in production. So there's Verto, which is a similar system where trading posts run, I forget what it's built in, it might be Dino or JavaScript server code, essentially, in the background. And then there's a DAO which controls and adjudicates the compute that happens on these nodes. And this is really exciting because this is essentially an economically secure way of doing compute that is trustable in a decentralized environment where you can write the applications that are being run in basically any language or any framework, really any existing compute platform or stack that you like. And this, I think, will be really, really exciting to people in the wider crypto space when they realize that, hey, like you can use the Arweave network and profit-sharing communities with your existing tooling, rather than having to learn a new programming language or anything like this. It's just kind of all there from the start. So the basic way that this works is you have a DAO. People buy the tokens from the DAO, or rather a community, so a decentralized autonomous organization, which is essentially a community in the Arweave ecosystem. Yes, they buy the tokens and they stake them. And this means that at any later point, if the participant that has staked the tokens is seen to be doing something that is wrong by the rest of the community, the organization, then they can have that stake slashed. So once they stake the tokens, they can be selected to run a piece of code in the background on a server. And that code can be written like in any language, any framework, whatever it happens to be. And if the DAO then later decides that, yes, they essentially haven't been running the code in a trustable way or reliable way, then they can just take the stake. And this means that there's an economic security guarantee that says, as long as the potential take, so the upside that the participant can gain from cheating the system is lower than their stake, they have an economically reliable guarantee to essentially just, run the code correctly. And at the moment, this is, as I said, in production with Verto, which is a decentralized exchange. So it's like a very trust-heavy system, and it works well. And I think AR Verify, who we'll also be hearing from today, using a very similar system. Yes, so I think this can be generalized so that you can do it with basically any kind of compute platform out there. And that's essentially what this project would be doing. So I think there's also potential, what would you call it, like potential for this project to turn into a kind of Web 2 to Web 3 conversion bridge, where people can take their existing programs, written in whatever language, whatever frameworks, and essentially just say, okay, run it in a decentralized and trustable environment for me. And I think that there's just so many opportunities in this area. It's extremely exciting. So if you're interested, yeah, please just reach out to me. I'd love to brainstorm with you on architecture. You can also reach out to Tate, who has, with the rest of the Verto team, built this and run it in practice. And also Fabienne from AR Verify, who has also been running one of these systems, or building one. It's not quite live yet, I don't think. Yes, so that's one idea. Another is SmartWeave checkpointing. So the way that SmartWeave works is it pushes the execution burden for smart contracts from the nodes in the network to the client. And this means that this has like a whole raft of benefits. One of which is that it's much more scalable from the point of view of compute in the network, because of course you don't have to have every single node running every single piece of code, and subsequently simply do more compute. It's also better from a trust point of view. Instead of having to have massive on the code that can run inside the contract, we can essentially allow the developer to do whatever they want. And then the developer and the user are making a kind of trust agreement where the user is saying, okay, I trust this developer enough to run whatever code they want to as part of this application on my system. This is just a fundamentally different approach than you would get with something like Ethereum, where the nodes in the network, which are a kind of third party to the transaction that is taking place, have to run the code written by the developer. And that means that that code has to abide by many more safety and security guarantees than if we push the code, to a party that already trusts the developer. So there's a lot of advantages to this approach, but one disadvantage, or I'd say trade-off really, is that it means that when people try to get to the tip of a SmartWeave contract, so that when they want to interact with a SmartWeave contract, if before interaction they actually want to know the current state, they have to run every single execution step up to that point. So this is obviously a fairly heavy computational burden if the contract has been around for a very long period of time. So one of the things we can do here is we can build a checkpointing network, which itself is a profit-sharing community built on top of the Arweave network that has a series of nodes running a kind of similar way to actually the decentralized compute idea that I just presented. So they're all going to stake some tokens, they're going to buy some tokens, they're going to stake some tokens, and then they're going to run SmartWeave contracts. And we can chat, I think, offline because this bit's going to get a little bit complicated. But we can chat about like how you would say which contracts should be run and which contracts shouldn't be run, the sort of mechanism design around that. Yes, so that they kind of agree upon a state of the contract as part of the DAO. And then they're committing these checkpoints, these state checkpoints, to the chain, and then users can come along and they can. And if the members of the DAO notice that another member of the DAO has committed a checkpoint that they don't agree with, then they can dispute it. They can start a vote to slash that person's stake and to essentially fork away from the checkpoint that has been committed by that member of the DAO. And so this is a reliable and economically safe system for essentially making it so SmartWeave contracts are much, much, much faster for the user to use. And I think that there would be a lot of demand for this piece of infrastructure in the ecosystem as it currently stands. I think that the last project idea could be really, really exciting to people that are getting into Web3 so they can port their Web 2 applications to run in the decentralized environment. So that's a kind of like outwardly facing project if you want from a go-to-market perspective. This is more kind of an internally facing project. So people in the existing Arweave community are really going to want to pick this up because as soon as these smart contracts gather lots and lots of interactions, it's just going to be a slight pain point when the user is trying to interact with the app. It's just going to get a little bit slower. And so we can get around that by having this checkpointing system. So I think there would be a lot of interest and excitement from other founders in the community if someone watching this wanted to take that on. So that's another idea. Okay, third, and this one I find truly very exciting, and is more, we would say, like in the application space rather than infrastructure, like the last two projects. Ownerless cyberspaces. So one of the really interesting things that the PermaWeb allows you to do is allows you to have pieces of code and to some extent, well, actually, yes, completely, web applications and subsequently forums and community gathering places that don't have an owner. And this is just fundamentally different than the Web 2 world. If you ever go to a website on the Web 2 kind of internet, you're essentially, if you would like, if you can see the analogy between cyberspace and physical space, it's like you're walking into someone else's house or shop. You are on their property. And this is certainly not without problem, because it means that you're trusting the person whose property you're in to treat you fairly. And when we go around the internet, it's as if we're just hopping from one shop to another shop to another shop to another shop. And those shops have rules that are enforced by the companies that own the land. And that it's as if there is no public square or public street that we step into between the places in cyberspace. But on the PermaWeb, it doesn't have to be like that. On the PermaWeb, there are cyberspaces that are run by code that everyone can see and everyone can audit ahead of time. And they can know that, for example, if they choose to host their community there, maybe like a subreddit equivalent for people that are enthusiasts about one thing or another, they can agree to the rules of engagement up front. They can say that in code, we write that this is the way that this space will be moderated, and it will never change. And we can rely on this. This is a dependable system. That's just a fundamentally different kind of, would you say, social interaction than the one you get in cyberspace at the moment, where you're really depending upon the person whose property you are accessing to keep the rules in place the way that you want them to, along with the kind of social contract that you've made. So I think that there could be a huge number of services that are built that make use of this system. During the Open Web Incubator, we had the seeds of that going with the Outpost project by Sam Hatton, who's actually here today. He's going to talk about Outpost in just a little bit. But I think we can go further with this. Outpost ended up kind of moving in a slightly different direction towards community-owned newsletters, which I think is a really great thing to have on the PermaWeb. It's a fantastic idea, but it does leave open this space for people to pursue, ownerless cyberspaces for communities to gather and grow on the internet. I'd love to speak to anyone that's interested in this later, privately, one-on-one, over Discord, whatever works for you guys. So those are my ideas, but now I'm really excited to throw it over to the community, the founders from the community that love to, present the projects that they're working on and how you can get involved. First up, we have Phil from Arweave. Phil, take it away.
Thank you, Sam. Let me share my screen. All right. Should be able to see, right?
Yep, we can see.
Cool. So my name's Phil, and I'm going to present an update on what we're doing with Arweave. I guess before we get into it, I just wanted to start with kind of our vision. And this really stems from the fact that saving things forever can be really difficult, especially for kind of the average person. It's tough to do it with all your at-home options. Hard drives die, moving from dongles or using different USB sticks. It can be challenging. That's why we have all these pretty large file sharing services out there: Apple, Dropbox, OneDrive for Business, with lots of users. But I see that there's some flaws in these services. For example, you have to deal with monthly subscriptions. Those prices only go up. The data is in the hands of the big corporation that you're uploading it to. You can't manage your own keys. But luckily, Arweave kind of came along and gave us this innovative way to keep our data forever. And that's kind of what gave us our vision at Arweave, which is ultimately to create a private and secure, decentralized, pay-as-you-go, censorship-resistant, and permanent data storage solution for everyone. right? Not just for a crypto audience or not just for me, but for anyone, right? Because anyone has personal data that they would want to store forever. Since the Open Web Incubator, we've made a lot of progress with our community. From kind of a resourcing perspective, we've been utilizing the Community XYZ Opportunity Board. We've already posted some opportunities there, already filled them, mostly part-time work. We would love to have our first real full-time person on board to kind of help us with our vision, but we just haven't found that person yet. But we have found awesome talent already through Community Opportunity Board. We'll talk about more opportunities we have upcoming. We've built our first public site, actually hosted on Arweave. You can go and check that out, kind of describing what we're doing and just links to key resources. You can go and look at all the code. We've been working really hard on different repos for our web, desktop, core, and CLI apps. Feel free to check out all of those. You can even take our web app or our beta CLI for a spin if you want. Our Discord and Twitter, it's been really cool to see all of the people and understanding what we're trying to do. We've gotten a lot of followers, a lot of Discord members over the last couple of months, so it's great. Hopefully we can continue that momentum. The actual ArDrive community, we finished the setup of that on our Community XYZ portal. So anyone can go in there, and any community members can go and vote on different governance topics as they come. Just to take a look at our roadmap, it's kind of scary to see how fast we're going through, but we're in October already, right? We've already kind of built out some of the base team. We started to plan how our community is going to go and our tokenomics and things like that. And we're really at the point where we're finishing the design and we're building the app, right? We're getting that one up and running for a release later this year. And that's primarily the desktop and application. You'll see early next year, that's to really start adding some value to the app itself, primarily in the form of offering a fiat on-ramp. Going back to the vision, we want this to be an app for everybody. To do that, you need for it. So we want to have that kind of fiat on-ramp for users to essentially pay $20 for 10 gigs of storage, for example. And then, of course, after that, that's when we really want to release our mobile app. Of course, a lot of content is on our desktops, but a lot of new content is generated from your mobile devices. So that is a key piece of ArDrive. And then finally, we want to really explore some cool features, right? And maybe we have a release of ArDrive catered crypto, that technical audience. Maybe there's a hardware component or a full node component in that where you can actually upload your data to your own node and have that be replicated on the Arweave network. So we're really trying to explore some interesting ideas and not just have this be a regular file sync app. Where we're at now, so I mentioned we have our core, our command line, and our web apps. Our desktop and core is primarily based in Node.js and TypeScript. You can actually test out the CLI right now via NPM. Our web app is based in Flutter and Dart. And really, it's these capabilities are kind of already built in for both of them. I've been calling it a beta. It's kind of on the lines of alpha and beta. There's still some security features missing in the desktop that we're changing up. But ultimately, the apps will let you use your Arweave wallet or create a new one. You can synchronize your files on any device, right? Whether that's Mac, Windows, Chrome, Edge. We want to support all of those platforms. It's not just uploading files, but renaming them, moving them. There's no delete, right? We're on Arweave, so there is no delete for any of the data put on our drive. Private files, we want to encrypt and protect them with the best security out there. And then we want to give the users the ability to, what I've been calling perma-share the files out to their friends, family, anyone else they may want to. We've been working through our design. If you've been looking at our Discord, you can kind of see us progress through this, but we really want the design to match the fact that this is a permanent file sync tool. So we want the right verbiage and educational messages in there. And we want it to be really easy to use. So here we can see kind of a snapshot of our web and desktop. Looks very similar to existing file sync tools, again, because file sync in general is kind of a commodity. So we see it as being something that we want it to be easy for anyone to just pick up and start uploading data. So right now, what we're working on is finishing our file system, completing that design, building out the remaining features in our core and web app. We just started working on our desktop package as well to implement those designs we just saw. And then testing and that final security piece of integrating AES 256 for any of the private files that you may upload. So I mentioned we already have some positions posted on the community XYZ. We have a lot more we're looking for, not just technical positions, but kind of non-techies as well. So whether you're a community manager, whether you like doing research, coordinating, testing, we're looking for a really strong developer to help us with our fiat integration and creating that payment gateway. Mobile app, we haven't even started yet. So if you like building mobile apps specifically with Flutter and Dart, we would love to have you. There's a whole lot of scripts we want to write for pulling data, getting different analytics on our drive users, amount of data, things like that. So, you don't have to be a real technical genius to get involved. And then really, when it comes to writing, there's lots to do, whether it's working on our white papers, announcements, other standards we want to produce. So I'm really trying to have roles for anyone. And I guess finally, product manager. So we're building the team. There's a lot of work streams going on. Really need someone to help tie all those together. So I invite anyone to go and check out the communities we have posted now, but a lot of these are going to come in the upcoming weeks. You can always lurk in our Discord. Message me, whether it's on Twitter, in Discord, email me, chat with me after this. Happy to talk to you if you want to help us out. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Phil. It's been really incredible to watch the progress you guys have made on the UI on your Discord. If anyone is not part of the ArDrive Discord, I would really recommend that you join it. It's amazing to see them kind of building in public. It's actually like a fantastic way to build community, I think. And feel like maybe it'd be interesting if you could come on and you could talk to us sometime about that kind of process of building in public. I think that could be really interesting. Amazing. Thank you. Okay. So next up, if we're having some technical difficulties earlier with network connectivity, but Prashant, hopefully you can tell us about Argo and also some other projects you guys have been working on. Okay. Prashant, I don't hear you. Does anyone else hear Prashant? Okay, I will take that as a no. Sam from Outpost, if you're up for it, maybe you could go next, and then Prashant will come back to you later once we've got this audio issue resolved.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to. Let me share
Sam.
my screen. Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm happy to be here. So my project is Outpost. And as Sam mentioned, we for the Arweave Open Web Incubator, we were building a little bit of a different project, more focused on ownerless communities. So if anyone's interested in building that, I'd be happy to help out and help you get that bootstrapped. But what we're working on right now is newsletters on Arweave. So we're currently a tokenized newsletter platform. It doesn't necessarily have to be tokenized, but that's what we've gotten a lot of demand for so far. And we're creating other tools for our own communities. So the ecosystem for user-owned communities has seen incredible growth in the last few months, and we plan to be at the forefront of it. Really like the growth that we've seen in DeFi the last few years through money Legos, composable primitives that other people can build on top of, we're starting to see in the social space. And we're really excited for the growth that we've started to see. So our recent milestones, we released our V1 for this newsletter platform. About 3 weeks ago, we released it exclusively with a writer named Brian Flan, who has this newsletter called Jam Session, and we've gotten a lot of awesome feedback since then. We've had a bunch of people reaching out to also be let onto the platform, and our goal is to bring more people on as soon as possible. We're also working on a subscription protocol that is completely decentralized. Yeah. So to give everyone a little demo, this is what our site looks like. It's like we have a little lag from loading right now. Let's see. There we go. So this is the home page. You're able to go to the newsletter. and then you see all of his different posts. And to be able to access his newsletter, you need to own some of his social token. So I signed in with an account that doesn't own it. We have a Uniswap iframe, so you can buy the token right here on our site. And then if you do own his token, you're actually able to access his newsletter. So it's a little bit of a different take on a subscription. The cool thing about tokenized subscriptions is that if you invest early in a creator and he becomes more popular, you're actually able to profit from that. And social tokens in general are becoming a lot more popular, and they're really excited about the demand that there's been for them. And then next to talk about some opportunities. So right now we have a product that people want, but our bandwidth is limited. We need more help. We're really open to help in whatever capacity people may have, and if people are interested in contributing, we're really open to helping them find a way to contribute that interests them. Some things that we're looking for is someone to be like an engineering lead of this project, to kind of someone that has a ton of experience and would be able to help push the direction of how we're actually building this. Also looking for a Node.js backend developer and a full stack developer. So my contact information is below. I'm at SMHTM on the Arweave Discord. And you can also find me on our own Discord for Outpost.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Sam. Yeah, I think that those mechanism designs that you're discussing with essentially subscription alternatives are really, really fascinating. And there's a lot to be said for how that will play out in practice in the world. So yeah, that's perhaps something to discuss on the Discord later. Prashant, looks like you're, well, I can certainly hear myself, so I assume other people can hear you now.
I also hope so. Here
All right, take it.
In Bangalore, we have there's network outage. Yeah, we are Argo, and Argo provides a platform to deploy your on the Arweave PermaWeb in just. So we are trying to solve a even developers from the developers who static, dynamic, or whatever the site. They can go ahead. They can go to as a tool. So what I start this video, which will help you guys out in order to understand what Argo is, and I'll show you how exactly it is working. So yeah, so this is the current UI of the Argo. This is how we provided user a feature to log into, and the moment someone logs into, they will see there whatever the site has been there, or the report they want to reply, it will be visible into the organization level. So now what I'll do is like I'll go and I'll create one deployment part here. I'll quickly go and deploy some of the sites. One site which I'll be deploying here as an example. And then I'll go and walk you guys through what exactly happened. Okay, so here we have many features integrated into the Argo Alpha 1.1, and we tried our level best in 1.5 months, I believe. So we tried to integrate as much as possible. So here it's a credence site which we have deployed using the Argo, and if you see, it has been user can able to go and easily navigate those. And also we have provided a feature where user can create their own organization, invite the team members, and call them to collaborate together for the deployment part. There are this feature which gives you the real-time streaming as well, even though if you log out or log in again. Okay, so I'll directly jump into this our particular what we have achieved now in Argo. So these are the couple of milestones. I know these are not much, but starting since we have started our building, thanks to Arweave and the entire team, as well as the Arweave community, there are a couple of members who jumped into and they helped us out in speeding up our development process, where we were able to successfully launch our Alpha 1.1, where users were able to deploy their React app flawlessly, just few clicks away, and that is how what we wanted to. And there are a lot which is going to be coming in Alpha 2.0. And why we are saying Alpha again and again is because we do not. There are some couple of security measures again, which we want to figure out how we are going to solve that. In which there is GitHub app integration as an integration which is going to help us to ask user a granular access as well. So if you see this entire the goal here, we have many things coming up, and the timeline which we have kept is around again 1 month around. So most probably in the 1 month we'll be again releasing Alpha 2.0. After that we'll be having the beta 1. But for this we are looking for awesome people in the entire Arweave community. Whoever is interested, they can come and join us. We are looking for people who are from React background, and they understand React, they understand CSS or whatnot. So all whoever is very good in UI part, we welcome them. We are looking someone who is good in content writing, because that is where we are lagging now, since most of the people are developers. We are afraid of writing the contents because it might become something else. And we are also looking for someone who can help us in guiding the market. So let's say I want to target few of the market and making sure our business community is being involved properly with us, and how exactly we are going to do that. We'll be looking for someone who is coming from the business dev background. And what we offer, so as a community member, as a Argo, we totally run on the PST, and we have allocated 10% of total Argo PST for our team members. Whoever is going to join us early into our initial phase, definitely they are going to be rewarded as much as good as other people who will be joining us later down the line. So now coming to the team members, I, Prashant, and Mutashish, we have started this idea and we built it till Alpha 1.0, and going forward we'll be looking for more of the community members. So I just wanted to just shout out for a special thanks to Shalay, Sharthak, and Jacob, coming at the last moment and helping us out in finding in stabilizing the alpha release, as well as making our code a little bit neater and cleaner. So this was all about Argo. And now coming to the part where I just wanted, so Sam, shall I pitch the idea of which I'm planning to ask community member to come and join into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is kind of open mic for people finding projects. So just
awesome.
Go for it if you think people might.
Awesome. So this is the credence which we have already built. Our framework is kind of ready. We want awesome people down in the community member. If anyone is interested, they can come and join us in building the credence. Credence is making the notary as a permanent solution. So if anyone, guys, if any of you are interested to work on the credence, we are very happy to make you understand what exactly credence is and how exactly we are going to proceed forward as a community and with the help of PST token, of course. So we'll be looking forward some of the community members to join us in this journey of the credence, where we'll be making notary as on Arweave. So that is where we are heading towards now.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Okay, cool. Tate, can you tell us a little bit about Verto and the PST Distributor project?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Can you all see this?
Yeah, I can see in here.
Awesome. Okay, so my name's Tate Berenbaum, and I'm here to present a little bit about Verto, which is a decentralized profit-sharing token exchange for Arweave. So the why. Well, I'm sure as you've noticed, there have been quite a few profit-sharing tokens and profit-sharing communities that have been released into the wild on top of Arweave. But the only problem is that before Verto, there was no way to trade these tokens. And so we thought that was kind of important. So we wanted to work on building a system to do that. So the what? So Verdo is a way to trade our Arweave profit sharing tokens in a completely decentralized manner. And the network is powered by trading posts, as Sam was kind of talking about earlier. And so these work on top of the block weave. So they receive the transactions, and then they can they each have their own order book and API. So we wrote the code in Node, and so basically the trading posts receive the orders, process everything, and handle all of the orders. And we can hold trading posts accountable thanks to the Verdo token in the DAO. And so each trading post has to have a stake, and with that stake, that allows the DAO to hold them accountable. So if a trading post were to, do something that were, malicious, then, the DAO could hold them accountable for that action and slash their stake. So we've made quite a few advancements recently that we're really excited about. As you might have been able to tell, the theme of this presentation is dark, which is a little bit different than previous presentations. And I'm excited to say that one of our team members, Martin, has been slaving away for like the past week and a half on getting a dark mode out. So we're super excited. You'll be able to see what that looks like in a second. Another thing that we're really excited about are token watchlist. So on your dashboard, you'll be able to see the tokens that you have. You can add a little widget onto your dashboard that lets you watch the price of the token. Another thing that we're working on expanding Verdo functionality outside of the application itself. So one way that we're doing that is supporting embeddable price graphs, and volume graphs for that matter, which allow you to add a graph for any profit sharing token on any website. Now, one thing that we're super happy to announce is the library, which essentially allows any developer in Node to integrate the functionality of Verdo right into their own application. So we've actually migrated the entire front end for Verdo, the application, to this library. So whenever we release an update to the library, the front end updates, and you can trade Verdo. You can use the functionality of Verdo into your own application. So another thing that is almost ready are custom tokens. So one thing that we really wanted to expand in terms of functionality with Verdo is supporting custom tokens. Recently, there have been quite a few interesting use cases for this. The first one that I can think of would be, if somebody's building like this application that allows people to listen to music and it embeds profit sharing tokens. Well, in that case, if each album were its own profit sharing token, you wouldn't want to have to go through like a token listing process to trade that album on Verdo. So by supporting custom tokens, any token that you build by default is supported by the infrastructure. And then the last thing that we've really been hard at work on, especially John from the team, is caching. So if you've used the front end before, you might have noticed that Verdo can be a bit slow at times depending on the page that you visit. And that's because in order to pull the information necessary, it has to loop through every transaction that occurred for every token that is, a profit sharing token. So we're trying to speed this up. John's working on a library called Cachweave. It's still in progress, but you can go to John's GitHub and see that, and we'd be more than happy to share that link if you'd like to contribute. Okay, so Verdo itself, here is dark mode. we didn't have a demo, but this is what the new trade page looks like. So it's super easy to use. You can select whether you want to buy or you want to sell. You can select the trading post that you want to use, though we will automatically recommend you one if you don't feel like doing some research and searching for that information. You can type the amount that you want to send. You can select the token that you want to send or receive, depending on whether you're buying or you're selling. And you can also set the rate for selling. And then after that, you just click buy or sell and then submit. And then that initiates the trade. And then after that, you'll be redirected to your dashboard where you can see that new trade as pending. And by the way, you can see all of this on the site right now. If you go to verdo.exchange, you can play with this functionality, as long as you're not in the US, because we had to put up a geofence. So we're also working on some opportunities that we would love to get help on. So one major thing is an explainer video for Verdo. That's on Community XYZ. We'd love to see an explainer video released, because there are quite a few concepts that are new to the community, and explaining these concepts has proven to be a bit of a challenge at times. Another thing that we'd really love to support is Weave ID. I think that Weave ID would allow people to log into the site much easier. It would add another level of trust, so that people don't have to drop or it would remove a level of trust. Actually, I forgot the way to word that correctly, but basically you wouldn't have to drag and drop your key file into our site and trust that we're going to do what we're supposed to with it. Like, we're not going to do anything with it, but it just adds another level of security. So another thing is the dedicated token page. So with custom tokens especially, it would be really cool if we could build something that allows people to get information on a token, like coin market cap or something. And I think Cedric is working on some Community XYZ functionality that allows you to get information about tokens, and we'd love to be able to integrate with this and display this on Verdo, so that you can also use Verdo as a sort of token discovery platform and discover all these different profit sharing communities. Speaking of profit sharing communities, we'd love to build some profit sharing community detection into Verdo. So as I'm sure you're aware, there's profit sharing tokens, and then there's profit sharing communities. And the difference between the two is that a token is just a token. It doesn't have a DAO. And then the community has this DAO built in, and that's running on Community XYZ. And we love to be able to maximize the potential of this community by working on adding detection, so that we can get necessary information displayed on Verdo. And then one of the most important things, though it's not exactly an opportunity, that we'd love to see is feedback. Feedback has been incredibly helpful for us. We've been lucky and we've gotten a lot of feedback so far, but just continuing to get feedback about everything that we're doing, requested features, reporting an issue if you have one, super, super helpful for us. And we'd love to talk to you about that. So this is no longer Verdo. Another thing that a few members of the team have been working on is what we call a profit sharing distributor. And basically what the use case for this is, in the US, we're trying to check the box of, okay, you're sufficiently decentralized. But at the same time, these profit sharing communities are also trying to seed their markets for the exchange. And so by building a system that allows people to distribute a set number of tokens over time automatically, we feel that this would be a really great way to be able to seed the market. So right now, this is an example of what something would look like that distributes. We wrote some tests in Dino, and we did get a linear curve working, but we're really, we're quite busy with Verdo, and we'd love some help on getting this across the finish line. We'll get the linear, we got the linear side of it, but this exponential curve, I think, would add a lot of potential to Verdo and all the other profit sharing communities for that matter. And I should mention that this mechanism works by allowing people to clone a repository, fork the repository on GitHub, and this automatic process is run through a GitHub action. So, there's no infrastructure that you need to download on your computer to use this. You just have to have a GitHub account. And it's pretty easy to customize too. You can input all of the total token supply, the amount of time that you want to distribute over, and also what we're calling the token allocation function, which basically allows people to say, okay, I want to reward this many users that fit this criteria, these tokens over time. So, you can build your own function into the system, and it's meant for that, so that you can select exactly who you want to distribute to. So yeah, that's it for me. Feel free to get in touch if you'd like to talk or chat about profit sharing communities, distributors, Verdo, any of those. You can reach out to me on Discord as well, or John. We'd both love to talk to you about that. So yeah, that is my presentation.
Amazing. Thank you, Tate. Those are two
Thanks,
really
Sam.
exciting projects. I think that the Verto.js library is really going to open up a whole bunch of amazing kind of avenues for essentially, like, you can just tokenize any revenue stream inside an application and make it a purchasable and tradable asset. It's just like,
right.
That's unbelievably powerful. And obviously you can do so, like, because of the way the wallet system works, and we've ideas work on improving that even, but you can do so without even like the MetaMask kind of funky UI or UX. So that's very, very exciting. I'm really keen to see where that goes. And likewise with the PST rewarder, I think there's a great profit sharing community on the infrastructure side to be built there around just decentralizing that. So like at the moment it uses GitHub Actions, which is great for like getting people on board in the first place. But again, by using that kind of DAO compute style, what would you say, back-end approach, you could build this so that a profit sharing community that wanted to make a decentralized PST rewarder, decentralized incentive adoption incentives system. They could just like throw the specification to this profit sharing community, which has its own set of nodes and validators that are essentially distributing the tokens in a provably secure and economically safe way. It would be very, very exciting to see. I think there'd be a lot of uses of that in the ecosystem because, of course, everyone needs to distribute their tokens somehow. So that's a project. And Tate, can you like take me through like where you are in the build here? Because if I understand correctly, this is basically something that anyone that's watching or is interested, they can come along, they can pick this up. Ideally, give you guys some of the profit sharing tokens that back the community, but then just like roll with it and make it their own project. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. So right now where we're at is we have the linear curve built. That is ready. We're just in the testing process right now. The repo is open source on GitHub. I'm happy to share a link in the chat for that. And anybody that wants to test this out can easily clone or fork that, and the GitHub action will automatically start working. So they can fork it, customize it, and simple as that.
Amazing. I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about this on Monday in our session about like what the playbook is for building a profit sharing community. And then on Thursday, again, like in much more depth, we're going to look at kind of the lessons we can learn about adoption incentives from DeFi, as well as Tate. I'd be really happy if you could join us and give us like a demo of this and like, hey, here is practically the steps that you do to set up this kind of system in practice.
Of course, Sam. Thank you.
Amazing. All right. Looking forward to that. Okay, so next up, Fabian with AR Verify.
Yeah, hi guys. Let me share my screen real quick. So can you see my screen?
We can, yeah.
You can? Perfect. So the project I've been working on is called Verify. It's about verifying addresses on the Arweave network. This works by having a DAO set up with auth nodes registered. This whole project is currently under development. I will post the link to the GitHub organization and to the Discord later. And this project is very useful when going into like person-to-person interactions on the blockchain. So you really know that an address you are working with is really verified and there's a real human behind this. And this whole concept is working by signing yourself in with your Google account currently. There could be any other authentication provider, basically. And then the auth node is sending a transaction onto Arweave where they are saying that, well, this address is now verified. yeah, and then basically every like application on Arweave can integrate the system and display, for example, the blue tick, like from Twitter or Instagram, that this account or basically this address is verified. And I've seen this project before with the notary thing. It would be very helpful to really ensure that there is like one-on-one, person-to-person verified addresses that are doing any transactions with each other. And this is the current UI, or basically the mock-up of the UI, how it's looking. You just simply log in with your wallet, click on the red circle if you're not verified, and then it will turn green after a while and after you're verified. So the whole project is built in Python. The frontend is built in JavaScript, and I would definitely need some help in getting this whole application more into the JavaScript direction, because the whole ecosystem right now is developing more into a Node.js direction. And so somebody is there and can help me out with writing production-ready software for this project. This would be awesome. As I said, there's a front end and there's the off node. The next steps would be setting up the community around this and the decentralized organization to get things rolling. And yeah, as I said, I will keep you updated on any things about this. And then this is basically just the process, how it looks like. So as you can see, you click on the red button. After it will turn orange, and after your transaction is processed, this will turn green. And then basically any service can just query the transaction and can see that this auth node has verified this one address. And so this will just lead to more transparency in the whole Arweave environment, and will really make sure that you are working with verified addresses and not any spammy addresses or something else. So yeah, this is as I said, the base concept around this. I've started developing this. And yeah, I hope I can find somebody to help me getting this thing production ready. Currently, it's in some kind of alpha state. But yeah, this would be some steps where I would need help at. And because this whole idea can be implemented in so many bigger applications, I'm thinking about implementing some kind of referral thing where when your application is using Arweave to make sure that everyone is using verified addresses, then you can receive some of the stake too from the organization, so that the whole organization will really go into a more decentralized way and will get even more secure around this. So this is basically the concept around Arweave and the idea behind this. So yeah, thank you, and I hope I will find somebody to help me.
Amazing. I think AR Verify could be a really exciting project. One of the core problems with the centralized web as it currently stands is that there's basically no Sybil resistance, right? So you can spin up hundreds of thousands of identities on most web services extremely easily. And this used to just be a kind of theoretical problem or a niche problem. But in recent years, we've seen, this put to use in in the political sphere by foreign state actors or state actors. As well as political parties trying to manipulate the votes and the likes. So I really think that this functionality that's kind of in the base layer of Arweave, so every piece of information stored on the network is associated with an address, and you can see some kind of chain of what you call reputation generating content associated with that address. So you can take the address, you can put it into ViewBlock, and you can see, hey, this person has been posting all over the PermaWeb for 6 months, so I'm pretty sure that they're actually a real human. It's not just this one post I'm presented with, it's the whole history of posts. And then AR Verify is taking this a whole massive leap forward and saying, no, don't worry about the post history. We'll get nodes that can do authentication and Sybil resistance for you, so you can just trust when you see the blue tick anywhere on the web, you're actually speaking to a human. I think that that's just only going to grow in importance over time. So I think this is a really exciting opportunity to get in on would you say the ground floor of something that could be a really critical piece of how the web develops over time if we can get it adopted. So that's just fantastically exciting. Anyway, thanks so much for taking us through that, Fabian. Okay.
Thank you very much. I will post all of the links in the chat if you have any questions.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, last but not least, I think we have OpenBits. Luca, can you tell us about where you are with that and what kind of help you need?
Hi. Okay, I'm Luca. I'm the founder of OpenBits. And first thing first, I am the worst of all of them because I do not have a slides presentation. I do not have a roadmap. I do not have organized things. But what I can show you right now is, and you are the first one that will see it, is the video that someone made us, the very first video that someone made us for OpenBits as an introduction video for OpenBits. So hope that you can see my screen if I share it. Can you see my screen? I hope so.
I can indeed. Yep. Can see you and see your screen.
Okay, that was the video about OpenBits. I'm pretty sure that you haven't listened to the music. So, okay, so what we have done this network where people can be rewarded for the open source packages that they create. You may know that there are a lot of programming languages, for example, Rust, Python, Node.js, last but not least, Dino, and all of them, they have their dedicated package managers. But when people publish these packages on these package managers, they do not have any way to be rewarded. Neither they have a way to be, to create, to monetize their packages in a very, very simple way. So we have did this. And you can see it on openbits.world. There are already 11 packages published. And the funny thing about this is that you can both publish your package, but you can also invest in packages that other people have already published. So you can split the rewards, the rewards that people have, that people is earning from their packages. On the developer side, what I can say about OpenBits is that we are evolving very fast. In this last month, we have designed a completely new land page that you can see right here, and we are working also on the on this part here, because what it is right now is like something completely new. So we want to make this part of our website much more similar to the package managers that developers are used to, for example, NPM or Yarn and so on. The other part of OpenBits is its command line interface. Oh, sorry, because of course you can publish NPM. Because of course you can publish your packages by means of the command line interface, as well as you do with NPM or with Yarn. So the very first thing that you want to do if you want to start to play with OpenBits is download this. If you are an open source package manager developers, of course, you can start by downloading the command line interface and start to play with it. It is very, very easy to use. We have a lot of opportunity opened on community XYZ. We are looking for a developer for the command line interface, a developer for evolving the web application. We are looking for 2 community managers, and we are looking for a full-time lead developer. These price years here that you can see in OpenBits, they are not they are the OpenBits that we will send to you only if you do a proof that you can do this job. But actually, if you are then selected to do this job, you will have a share of the whole OpenBits, okay, that you can see and that you can read here. There is also another opportunity that is this one, so to publish an OpenBit package. So if you have already a Node.js package that is already written and that is already ready to be published, just publish it on we will spread you some OpenBits. The last thing that I wanted to show you is that because of the nature of the OpenBit project, this may be a place that you can visit. That you can visit if you want to understand what is the difference among the R token and the profit sharing community tokens and of the PST tokens, because of course in OpenBits everything that we do in OpenBits is made by means of R. So in order to publish your packages, you have to pay some R, and in order to install the packages, if you want, you have to pay some R. And then if you want to participate into the community, into our DAO, everything about this DAO is handled by means of our PSG, OpenBits, with all capital letters. But also, when you publish a package on OpenBits, each of that package is linked to a PST. So each of that package has its own PST, its own profit sharing token, and so developers of that tokens can split their shares with other people. Okay, it is like if you are familiar with Ethereum, if you are familiar with personal tokens, it is quite a kind of personal tokens that are not linked to people, but that are linked to software, to packages, and that's all. You can find us on Discord, of course. You can find us on if you navigate to openbits.world, you'll find all the links to all the places where you can talk with our community, and I'll put them very soon in chat. That's all.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Luca. And for
You're
everyone
welcome.
that took part in the event today, giving us presentations, and also those that have participated in the chat. I just can't wait to see how all of this develops over the next 6 weeks. It's fantastically exciting. We'll be around on Discord, of course. We're also putting together a kind of index of all of the community channels by projects on top of the network, like profit sharing communities, so that people can find their way to where they can speak to the founders of those projects much easier. If you missed anything, if you missed any Discord links so far, you can just search back through the Open Web Hackathon, Open Web Fellowship. Wow, we've come a long way. Hackathon Incubator Fellowship. On the Arweave Discord server, and you'll find an index that you can either add to yourself if you're a founder and you want to make sure that people can find your community chat links, or you can join the channels if you are so inclined and you're looking for it. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll chat to you later.